There are moments in life when it feels like your name gets lost in the crowd, among so many voices, faces, and stories that no one else seems to notice. You give your best, work with dedication, pray with faith, and wait patiently. Yet still, the feeling of invisibility can settle in. It's as if you were just another number, a fleeting image, a forgotten name on a long list. But I want you to know something that changes this reality. The God who created the universe truly knows. You knows your name and knows every detail of your story. You are not forgotten, not hidden, and not lost among thousands of indistinct faces. You are known, loved, and deeply remembered by the Creator of heaven and earth, the one who shaped the stars and stretched the vast sky above us. Think with me. A sculptor working on a marble piece does not act in haste. He studies every line, every curve, every imperfection before shaping what he wants to create. How much more does God, who knows every detail of your being even before you existed, care for you with infinite care and tenderness as he forms you? Before anyone saw you, before your name was spoken, God had already written it lovingly on his hand, with a love so great it cannot be measured. In the scriptures, we find an extraordinary promise that says, "I have engraved you on the palm of my hand. Your walls are ever before me." This is not the voice of someone distant and indifferent. It is the declaration of a father who watches, protects, and cares for you with constant attention. Today, I want to invite you to dive into this deep truth. God knows who you are, not just on the outside, but deep within your soul. Your identity is rooted in his love, and even when no one else understands or sees your value, he is speaking to you, showing you your purpose and path. If you believe the Lord can act and transform your life now, I invite you to stay with me in this moment of faith. Let's pray together, with confidence and courage, in the powerful name of Jesus. Open your heart and receive the blessings that come from heaven. Let me start by showing you how attentive God is to you. There is something wonderful about being known when no one is calling your name out loud. God's attention does not depend on public recognition or human applause. In moments of silence and waiting, he knows every struggle, every unspoken desire, and every battle you face. In the book of the prophet Amos, we find a passage that reminds us of God's power to act, even when no one notices. He is the one who creates the heavens and the earth, who calls the waters of the sea and spreads them over the land. This image shows a God who not only watches from afar but commands and moves everything, even in silence. If God can call the waters of the sea and make everything obey his voice, he can certainly call your name in this moment of waiting and silence. It doesn't matter if the world seems indifferent. God doesn't need crowds to act in your life. He is not waiting for someone to confirm what he has already said. His love and attention toward you never diminish, even when no one else recognizes your faith or perseverance. Remember the story of that man who lived isolated, forgotten near a place called the Pool, near the sheep gate. He was invisible to society, marginalized, and for many years no one cared about him. But when Jesus appeared, he knew everything about that man. Jesus didn't ask for anyone's approval, didn't wait for people's opinions, and with a simple call transformed his life forever. God looks at you the same way. When others pass by without noticing you, he walks toward you, calls your name, and doesn't care about titles, resumes, or achievements. You are not lost or forgotten in the darkness. He knows your name and is calling you right now. Now let's reflect on what it means to be marked for a mission and purpose. Your name, my friend, is not the result of chance. It is not something that happened by luck or accident. God has marked you for a very special purpose, long before the people around you understood who you really are. Before any expectation or human opinion arose about your life, God already had a plan for you. The Bible reminds us clearly, before you even existed, God had written every day of your life in a book, planning what would come to pass. This truth is liberating because it shows that your life is not a jumble of wasted moments nor a path without meaning. Even the days when you don't understand what is happening are part of a greater story, woven by God. The world may try to label you by what you were, what you lived, or even what you are going through today. But God calls you by what he has placed inside your heart. Purpose is not something you earn by merit, it is a mark God engraved on you from the beginning. He will never let it disappear because purpose is connected to the one who created you. To illustrate this, think of the story of a young servant girl who was in a difficult environment, surrounded by influences contrary to what God wanted. She was not an influential person, had no social status or wealth, but God used her to speak a word that changed a nation, bringing healing and restoration both to body and spirit. God does not limit your calling to titles or positions of power. What seems small in your hands, in His hands, becomes great and meaningful. He does not need human approval to activate what is inside you. He only needs you to believe, to accept that what God put inside you is important and valuable. You are not lost, nor wandering aimlessly. You are not trying to be something you are not. You have already been marked for a greater destiny, for something that goes far beyond the moment you are living. God has already given you everything you need to fulfill the purpose He designed for your life. He knows your name because He inscribed it in the foundation of your story and your calling. You are not out of place. You are exactly where God can reach you and work in you. When you begin to understand that your name is engraved on the hands of God, that He knows every detail of your life, a new confidence begins to grow inside your heart. This confidence does not come from external circumstances, nor from the recognition of those around you. It springs from the unwavering certainty that there is a divine purpose, that you are seen, loved, and called for a mission only you can fulfill. Imagine yourself now walking with this certainty, even amid storms, challenges that seem to want to make you give up. This is the strength that is reborn when you remember what God has already declared about you. There is a story that inspires us deeply in this regard. It is the story of an ordinary man who was called to an extraordinary role. He didn't have a noble profession, was not a recognized leader, nor a public figure. He was a simple person, but full of faith and courage to listen to God's call. When he was called, he had no doubts. Even facing the unknown, he answered with a yes that changed his life and impacted generations. The strength of that yes did not come from his own ability, but from the certainty that his name was written in the hands of the one who can do all things. This story reminds us that God does not choose the qualified, He qualifies the chosen, and you are one of them. Even if today you feel you lack resources, skills, or even enough courage, God is already working in you, preparing everything so that your calling may manifest. It doesn't matter what your mind says, what your past points to, or what circumstances insist on showing. What matters is what God has already determined for you, and that is firm, strong, and eternal. But maybe you are wondering, how can I know if God really knows me? If He is truly calling me? That doubt is natural and part of the faith process. You don't need to wait for great signs or extraordinary proofs. Often, God's call comes subtly, through a feeling of peace, a kind word, an unexpected opportunity, or even a difficulty that awakens something new in you. God uses small moments to reveal His plan, and the first step is to be open to listen, even when everything seems calm or silent. When we accept this invitation to hear God, life begins to change in surprising ways. Doors that seemed closed start to open, doubts lose their power, and a new light floods our path. But of course, this doesn't mean the journey will always be easy. The path God traces for us includes challenges that strengthen our faith and teach us to depend exclusively on Him. Each obstacle is an opportunity to grow, to deepen our relationship with the Creator, and to understand that even in difficulties, He is by our side. Now I want to make a special invitation to you who have stayed with me until here. If this video has spoken to your heart, if you feel that flame of hope, that desire to connect more deeply with God, then how about becoming part of this community? Subscribe to the channel so we can continue this journey of faith, inspiration, and growth together. Here you will find not only words of motivation, but also a space to share your experiences, your doubts, and your victories. And speaking of sharing, I want to know from you, what was the moment when you truly felt that God called your name? What special story do you have to tell? Leave it in the comments so that others can also be inspired by your life. This space is for all of us who seek to better understand what it means to be known by God and to live with purpose. Your experience is unique and can be the light someone needs right now. Returning to our reflection, when God calls our name, He also gives us a powerful promise. He will never abandon us, never forget us, even when everything around us seems to fall apart. This promise is not just a beautiful phrase, it is a reality we can experience every day. God's constant presence in our lives is a protective shield, an inexhaustible source of peace and strength. And this protection is not selective. It does not depend on merits or perfection, but on the immense love He has for each one of us. The Bible is full of examples that show how God acts on behalf of those He knows by name. He is the same yesterday, today, and forever. This means that regardless of the generation, time, or circumstances, His love remains firm and true. He knows exactly what you need, even before you ask, because He is attentive to every detail of your journey. When you feel tired, frustrated, or alone, remember this truth. God is watching over you, holding your hand, and guiding your steps. But for this relationship with God to be real and transformative, it is essential that you choose to open yourself to Him. It is not always easy to trust, especially when we go through difficult moments. However, true faith is not the absence of doubts, but the decision to keep going even when we don't see the whole path. It is accepting that even in silence, God is working, preparing the ground so that what was promised becomes reality. This daily decision to trust even when everything seems uncertain is what strengthens our identity and brings us closer to our Creator. When you understand that your name is marked in God's hands, you begin to see the world differently. Difficulties stop being huge obstacles and become steps toward your transformation. People who don't recognize you or value your potential lose power over your self-esteem. You start to see yourself as someone loved, chosen, and qualified to make a difference. And this inner change reflects in every area of your life, in relationships, work, health, and your spiritual well-being. So at this moment, I invite you to renew this certainty in your heart. Always remember that regardless of what you are going through, the God who knows you by name never forgets you. He is present right now at this very moment, with hands extended to welcome you, strengthen you, and guide you toward a future full of hope and achievements. As we walk this journey, we realize that being known by God, having our name engraved in His hands, is not just a promise of protection or comfort for hard times. It is a profound transformation that changes how we see ourselves and the world around us. This transformation begins when we accept that our value does not depend on what others say, past failures, or future uncertainties, but on the unconditional love of a God who knows us intimately and calls us by name. This intimacy with the Creator is an inexhaustible source of courage. It strengthens us to face the fears that insist on paralyzing us and inspires us to take bold steps even when the path seems uncertain. It's as if, knowing He holds us, we can walk without fear, confident that even if strong winds blow, our roots are firm and secure. That changes everything. No matter which doors close, what difficulties arise, or who doubts us, our identity is already established in that immense love that never fails. Now think of all the times you doubted yourself, or felt you weren't enough to face life's challenges. Those moments are part of the journey, but they do not define who you are. You are much more than those doubts and limitations. You are a son or daughter of the One who created the universe, who knows every hair on your head, and who has wonderful plans for your life. This is the truth we want to embrace and live every day. And to live this truth fully, it is necessary to cultivate a daily relationship with God, which is manifested in prayer, gratitude, and the silence that allows us to hear His voice. It is in this constant encounter that we find strength to overcome storms, wisdom to make decisions, and peace to rest amid chaos. The faith born from this relationship is active, vibrant, and full of life. It is not limited to words but translates into actions that reflect God's light to the world. You may wonder, how can I do this in practice? The answer is in the little things of everyday life. A moment of prayer in the morning, a sincere thanks before meals, a reserved time to meditate on divine promises. These simple gestures, when done with an open heart, create an environment where God can act powerfully in your life. And as this practice becomes routine, you will notice a natural change in your outlook, attitudes, and your ability to love and forgive. And here is the beauty of this journey. You are not alone. We are a community, a spiritual family, walking together, sharing our stories, victories, and also our struggles. So, I want to invite you once again to be part of this space, to subscribe to the channel, and to open your heart in the comments. Tell us how you have experienced being known by God. When was the moment you felt His presence in a special way? What did this video awaken in you? Your story can be the light for someone who needs exactly what you have to share. Remember, this channel is a safe place where every voice is heard and valued. Here, we celebrate every achievement, support each other in difficulties, and grow together in faith. Your participation makes all the difference because it is through this genuine exchange that we build a true community that inspires and transforms lives. To finish, I want to leave a special and warm invitation. If this content touched your heart, if you felt that peace or that flame of hope growing inside you, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That way you won't miss any message that could be a true boost for your life. Turn on notifications and come grow with us, because here you will always find words that build up, stories that inspire, and a virtual hug full of affection. Thank you very much for being here, for being part of this story. May the certainty that your name is engraved in God's hands accompany you today and always. May you walk confidently, knowing you are loved, called, and qualified for great things. And don't forget, your journey is unique and valuable, and your voice matters a lot to this community we are building together. See you in the next video, with more reflections, more faith, and more strength for you. God bless you abundantly.